Next, we're going to have Andy Walker. Andy Walker is our president of our Fish and Wildlife Foundation Board. Andy, come on up. We've got a couple awards we want to do. Morning, Andy.
Good morning, commissioners, and good morning, Rodney. Yes, we have 2 awards today, but before I start, since Nick was just up here, I should also say that Nick is now on the board of the foundation, and we have partnered on a couple projects in town, and we haven't announced this yet publicly, but we've been working with Bass Pro Shops to interest them in the hydrologic restoration that Duckland Limited is doing in Cape Sable in the Everglades. And Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's Outdoor Fund just awarded us $100,000 for that restoration project. And so we were really glad to be able to attract that money for that work in the Everglades for DU. It is an honor to be here today. It's always nice to honor FWC staff who work so tirelessly and hard in all hours of the day and night. And today we have the 2 awards we typically do at this time of year. The first is actually the Rodney Barreto, let's see, make sure I hit the right button. Yes, the Rodney Barreto FWC Employee of the Year Award, which is awarded for outstanding performance in the previous calendar year. So we're talking about performance in 2024. We receive a number of nominations from throughout the organization, and our staff and our board weigh in on these, and our board ultimately makes a decision on this. This year, the nominees are Kyle Miller, Kyle Coughlin, and Lisa Smith. And all of these people will receive a cash honorarium from the foundation in honor of their being nominated. The award winner receives a $2,500 honorarium from the foundation. And I'm very pleased to say that this year's awardee is Kyle Miller. And I'd like Kyle to come up with his family. And I would love to have Jessica McCauley come up, who led the team that nominated Kyle, to say a bit more about his accomplishments in 2024 and over the course of his career.
Thank you, Andy. So it would be difficult to find a more dedicated and deserving employee to receive the 2024 Rodney Barreto FWC Employee of the Year Award than Kyle Miller. Kyle is a biological scientist and he's been with the Division of Marine Fisheries Management for more than 20 years. He has earned a reputation as one of the agency's top experts in achieving conservation objectives through executive orders and regulations. And Kyle is always a top performer, but I'd like to highlight the work he completed in 2024 that made him stand out from his amazing peers in the agency. Kyle's steadfast commitment to stewarding Florida's marine fisheries resources was the key to his efforts to lead a team of DMFM, Division of Law Enforcement, in the legal office to successfully complete and rewrite Florida's shrimp rules. This 3-year process required coordination across the agency and across 7 rule chapters, and this was an enormous task that Kyle got across the finish line. Because of Kyle's expertise in tackling challenging rulemaking and dealing with nuanced and detailed regulations, he was tapped to lead the overhaul of the rules for the agency's Marine Special Activity License Program. Kyle coordinated a team of staff to develop the updates to modernize the rules for 11 different licenses that provide groundbreaking research on topics like coral restoration. Kyle was also a key player in engaging stakeholders in Pasco County and developing a harvest regulation framework to allow the expansion of their season from 10 days to nearly 40 days. However, the excitement around the ability to extend the season was cut short when shellfish toxins were found in scallops off Pasco County. Kyle was instrumental in drafting and processing the executive orders to temporarily close the harvest, protecting Floridians and visitors from unintentionally consuming contaminated scallops. Because human health was at risk, this required a quick reaction and extended hours to execute the agency response. Fortunately, the algal bloom responsible for the toxin subsided, and Kyle was able to write the order to reopen Pasco County scallops and restore the longer season in 2024. It's clear to me and his colleagues that Kyle truly enjoys his work at FWC, and he channels his quiet passion for his work into investing in staff newer to the agency. He mentors new hires on agency processes and procedures, and he helps them learn the ropes so that they quickly become valuable contributors to the agency's conservation efforts. And aside from all the projects that he works on, Kyle consistently serves as a valuable resource for staff across the division. He never hesitates to explain a rule change or the purpose behind a decision, and his extensive knowledge of rules, regulations, and processes is regularly sought out by staff, and he's always willing to help. Kyle's initiative, expertise, and dedication to collaboration have made a lasting impact on the division and the agency, and every day Kyle comes to the office with a great attitude and determination to find solutions to problems and help push our mission further. I believe Kyle deserves to be recognized for all the work that he does and the impact he has on everyone with whom he interacts, and his sustained exceptional performance and exemplary work ethic make him a deserving candidate for the Employee of the Year award, but it is truly his significant accomplishments over the last year that make Kyle stand out above the rest. Thanks.
I think we all know that that the people who work hardest are the families of FWC employees. Would you like to introduce your family as well and have them come up?
My wife Chrissy, and my two boys, Maddox and Brody, hiding behind the podium here.
All right, guys. Here. Red, how the boys come over here? We got something for the boys. Here, let me go.
Wow, look at that. Awesome. Thank you. Wow, this is such an incredible honor. I'm deeply humbled to receive this award and to be recognized among so many hardworking employees here at FWC. It's been an absolute privilege to serve for FWC and the Division of Marine Fisheries Management for the last 21 years. I'm especially thankful for the support of my dedicated and passionate coworkers who play such a key role in the conservation and management of Florida's marine resources. I'm proud to be part of such an amazing and talented group of people. This award reflects our collective efforts, and I'm thankful for everyone who helps make our work so rewarding. I'd also like to take a moment to thank my wife, my boys, and my entire family. Their unwavering support, patience, and encouragement have made all the difference in my ability to give my best to the work that I do here. Thank you again for this honor. I really enjoy my work at FWC, like Jessica mentioned, and I'm proud to be such a part of such a great organization. Thank you again.
Congratulations again. The other award that we give at this time is a Lifetime Achievement Award in honor of Louise Humphrey, who is a longtime commissioner, as many of you knew her, with the Florida Game and Freshwater Fish Agency before it was merged and became FWC. This award looks out over the career of people and typically honors people who have been with the agency for quite a few years and been outstanding each and every year. This year, we will make a cash award of $5,000 to the nominee and honorariums as well to the other nominee. And the nominees are Don Fox and Dr. Louise Barbieri. And I'm very pleased to say that the award this year is going to go to Don Fox. There's Don. I didn't see you. All right, come on up. And I'd also like to invite Dr. Tom Rennert to come up and say more about Don's work over the years.
Thank you, Andy. Chairman, Commissioners, Roger. It's my great honor to recognize Don Fox as the Louise Humphrey Award winner this year. Don recently retired after having served FWC and its predecessor agencies for 42 years. I honestly thought I'd have to go to Tennessee and pry him out of his tractor seat or maybe drag him out of a duck blind. I'm kind of surprised he's not wearing camo right now. So, but all the best to Don and his retirement. Most of his time was spent working on Lake Okeechobee. And few people these days work for one agency for that kind of time, 42 years. And fewer still dedicate almost their entire career to one very special place. Nearly everything that I know about Lake Okeechobee has come from working with Don. So I solicited and received multiple nominations from people who know and have worked with Don over the years, and I just want to give you a few notable examples out of many of some of the things that I received. It could be said of Don Fox, he's forgotten more about Lake Okeechobee than most will ever know. That is absolutely true, I think. Don is the go-to guy for everything Okeechobee, even among other agency biologists. If you want to know what happened on the lake 1 million years ago or yesterday, Don knows it. If you want to know who's commercially fishing or guiding, he knows them and their families and how to get in touch with them. You don't want to know where the fish are, he knows where they are, and he'll tell you what the best lure is for that day. So, but in addition to that, Don has overseen the removal of millions, literally millions of tons of organic muck from the lake bottom and restored native communities. He's personally planted thousands of native trees and shrubs on spoil islands to convert them into true wildlife islands. Over 70 species of birds have been documented using 1.5 acre island, now affectionately known as Fox Island. Many of those birds return they're abandoned and they return year after year. So it's amazing work, great habitat work on the lake that Don has overseen over his career. Here's another one. One hot South Florida weekend while on airboat patrol on the lake, I caught sight of a vehicle parked on the lake bottom near some small cypress trees. I found Don sitting in the driver's seat, soaked in sweat and covered in dirt. I asked him, why is he out here by himself on a weekend? And Don replied, I have to get these trees planted before it's too late and we can't drive out here no more. That's the dedication this man has to the lake. If anyone ever had a question, Don would stop what he's doing. He'd go to his file cabinet, pull out a file, get something off his computer, and he would explain the subject so thoroughly that when they left, they knew everything they needed to know about that issue. And many of us are in a better place to serve the public because of the knowledge and experiences that Don Fox has imparted. And finally, this is really the best one, I think. If Lake Okeechobee is the liquid heart of Florida, Don Fox is the cardiologist that's kept it going. And I'd like to thank Dan Roberts, Alyssa Jordan, Lieutenant Josh Davis, Major Mike Davis, Officer Eddie Brown, and Lindsey Mann for their contributions in helping me pull this together and adequately try to capture just a little bit of what Don Fox has meant to Lake Okeechobee and to this agency. So, congratulations,
Don. As many in this room will attest, I'm really few for words. Right, Dick? I'm humbled and honored and thankful. Thankful with the people I got to interact with. When I was looking at the list of previous recipients, and I looked at it, and there's so many people on that list that I interacted with over the years, including the first recipient. He taught me how to burn from a helicopter in the ground. My first weekend in Okeechobee, when I just had an apartment, everybody else lived in the town. Individual, we all piled in my apartment and watched the World Series. And leaning against the wall, I had no furniture. And there was one individual there, that time they worked for OES. And later, she crossed decks, and she became the director of law enforcement. Another person in there took me on my first airboat ride, and he and I shared a waterfowl blind lot together, Frank. Even before the agencies merged, and we were, there was FMRI and the GFC, There was an individual on that list also that we conversed a lot about how Lake Okeechobee was a conduit for snook between the East Coast and West Coast. And he was from Southern Alabama, so we had no idea or had no communication issues. That was Ron Taylor. And then, of course, one of the guys, the individuals, was my supervisor off and on for many, many years, Lawson Snyder. But then I think the third or the fourth person on that list was just really, really interesting. We came out of the same patch of mountains. He was, of course, older than me, went to the same graduate school. His first position was in Okeechobee. I followed him from Tennessee to there. He actually retired from the same position that I retired from. So, my grandma always told me, keep good company, and I think I was keeping good company. Thank you.
That concludes our normal awards, but we have one more we want to make today. We're going to call it a Mid-Career Lifetime Achievement Award because the person we want to honor is not showing any signs of slowing down. And I wonder if I could direct everybody's attention to the video.
Rodney Barreto first came on the scene when Jeb Bush was governor. He brought Rodney in as a commissioner, and from there, history was being made.
I just have a passion for the outdoors. I just love the outdoors. I love hunting, fishing, boating, biking, you name it. Anything outdoors, I love doing. I think it's made me who I am today.
The uniqueness in Rodney Barreto, to me, is one that you won't find in many people. Really a true hands-on conservationist.
I think the most accomplished commissioner that the FWC's ever had.
Chairman Barreto has put conservation on the map in the state of Florida. He's always 2 steps ahead of the issues that are out there, approaching them all with passion and dedication like he does with his job every single day. We're very fortunate and blessed to have him as our chairman.
He realized that the foundation, which was in its infancy, could really be a remarkable partner for FWC.
We would go to the foundation if there was need for help on things, and they were helpful. There were a lot of good board members at the time, but Rodney, as Rodney is so good at, always saw more opportunity, more potential.
Rodney has done tremendous things with the foundation through the years, assembling a fantastic group of people that just truly care and are passionate about conservation in the state of Florida.
I looked at Florida and I said, listen, I need some decision makers that I can pick up the phone. I kind of went throughout the state and we kind of repopulated the board.
We are now the largest foundation of our type in the country, arguably the largest conservation foundation in Florida. And we work hand in glove with FWC, and it's all due to Rodney's original vision.
Truly, I think his biggest impact is the way that he's been able to bring the two organizations together. There's nobody like Rodney when it comes to helping people work through a problem.
We were dealing with an issue at one point, and everybody's kind of is just very tense. Some of the commissioners were trying to figure out how to thread the needle on this issue, and we needed a timeout. And he got everybody's attention and brought everybody back to where we needed to be and allowed us to move forward. And he just kind of has a way of getting attention and just get people to believe in what he's selling. And he's great at it. And he's done it time and again.
There's been a lot of laughs, and there's been a lot of hard work, and there's been a lot of thinking and, furrowed brows, and we've come up with a lot of great things, and I think we're just getting started, and a lot of that is due to Rodney. So
Rodney's just always there. He's hands-on. He's there to help us. He's there to do what we need to do to help protect the state of Florida for conservation.
As Florida grows, we want to protect the outdoors. As kids, when we grew up, the opportunities that we saw, that we want those opportunities to be for our kids, our grandkids, and for the future generations.
Rodney has had a huge impact on the youth camps and making sure that both our law enforcement officers are working with kids on education, as well as the agency working with kids on just showing them what it means to be in the outdoors, showing them what it means to be conservation-minded. I really see the impact that he has on the next generation.
I think Rodney Barreto is one of the great unsung heroes of conservation in Florida.
Anybody who knows Rodney would just describe him as a true force, and what he's been able to bring to conservation is unparalleled.
It's been a great time. I chaired the commission for over 10 years. We're a good working group of people, all committed to the outdoors and the opportunity for all Floridians.
So Rodney, I don't have to let me behind the barricade. You might have to come down here. We have a token of our esteem. I should say that Rodney offered me this job about an hour after he met me and didn't even have time to check my criminal record, so I'm doubly grateful.
Wow. Well, you caught me off guard here.
Got it?
Yep. Well, I appreciate that. Well, thank you. Thank you. Here's to Florida, right?
I don't know if anybody has any stories they can tell in polite company about Rodney, but I would just say on my own behalf that I think a lot of you know what Rodney does here, and now in his 17th year as a commissioner, is just a fraction of his public service that he's done. He's chaired the Super Bowl committee 3 times, raised more than $100 million. He's on the board of the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation, Bonefish Tarpon Trust, the Florida Highway Patrol Association, and I'm sure many that other things I'm not aware of. And I never got to meet Mother Teresa, so I have to say, Rodney, you're the most public-spirited person I ever know.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say a few words on this momentous occasion. I didn't meet Rodney until 1992, so just recently, but I never envisioned when we met the paths that this would take us, Rodney. We've been through so many different things together, but the one binding thing that we've had together is conservation, and we've never wavered from that. And I meant every word. I think you've been just an incredibly effective commissioner, foundation member, idea man, get it done man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
Okay.
what you mean. By the way, so Carlos Alfonso, who is from Tampa, my dear friend, an architect and builder, developer. Carlos was chairman of the Constitutional Revision Board that actually created the FWC. That's where Carlos and I first met. And Carlos, I was friends with Governor Bush, he was from Miami, and I asked Governor Bush that I'd like to serve on the Fish and Wildlife Commission. He goes, well, you got someone who's competing for it as well, as a guy named Carlos Alfonso. And so, but Carlos and I were friends, and we just kind of like looked at each other. But then Governor Bush said, you know, Carlos, I really need you to go serve on the University of Florida board. So Carlos went to the University of Florida board, where he became the chairman of the board of the University of Florida. I came onto the Fish and Wildlife Commission, just to give people a background of our relationship. Go ahead, Carlos.
Well, it's just been a tremendous joy, really, and an honor to just trade ideas and concepts back and forth. And so I didn't want to leave here without actually saying congratulations to you. We're so honored that you would be serving on our board as well. And we're really now at a point, when our board started, as you know, we were trying to imagine success, and now we're really trying to manage success. And so that's a huge change for us. So thank you so much, and thank you for everything you've done.
we're very, very appreciative. And one last thing I'd like to say to Commissioner Ferrier, that his hometown wishes him a happy birthday today.
That's right.